Hey guys, and welcome into the Expected Bets 4 podcast. I am Franco the Banker. I'm going to be riding solo today here. Betsky and Gator are both away. So I'm going to walk you guys through this gigantic 15 game slate before the Thanksgiving holiday. Um, Before we get into this, I kind of was joking earlier about the motivations and that type of stuff going into this game as far as it being a loaded slate before a day off for most of these players. Um, we'll see. I'm hoping that's not the case. It's only one day off. Obviously, like a lot of these teams are going to be playing on Friday, so I'm hoping that's not the case. Um, but yeah, let's get into it. Before we do, I want to talk about our sponsors here. We have DraftKings Sportsbook. If you're new to DraftKings, new bettors get $200 in bonus bets if they use the promo code THPN and bet $5. Pretty simple. And game time. If you're going to be going to any games soon, sign up with code THPN. You get $20 off your first purchase. Um, Great site for getting tickets to anything, games, concerts, stuff like that. So definitely look into them. And Raycon, we're approaching Black Friday, Christmas, all the fun stuff. So get your gifts there. They have audio equipment, stuff for streaming and um, all headphones and stuff like that. So check them out. 30% off using code THPN. Um, Otherwise, let's get into it. So first game on the slate today is going to be the Minnesota Wild and the Buffalo Sabres. Um, Pretty interesting lines here. I know Buffalo's been really hot recently. Minnesota's kind of tailed off a little bit, we'll say. But Wild minus 142, Sabres plus 120, home dogs. Looks like Gustafson versus UPL tonight as well. I kind of want to take Minnesota. I've already tried to fade the Sabres a couple times on that West Coast road trip. They're coming back now. Obviously, both San Jose and Anaheim had leads in those games and blew them late. Sabres third period came to play. I guess really decided to wake up and get those wins. So, do they come into this game with um, a little less, coming off a road trip where they're feeling good, and maybe they take the Wild a little lightly here. We'll see. I feel like getting the Wild at minus 142 feels like a nice price. Second game back with Kaprizov, so you don't have to worry about whether he's good to go or not. He should be ready now, skating well, and obviously Tage Thompson coming back for the Sabres is a big boost for them. But we'll see how good he looks in his first game back. He's going to be right back on that top line, top power play. So I can understand why people want to go look towards him today. But yeah, I think I lean the Wild if I had to take a side. Probably the under as well. I mean, over under set 6 here, plus 102 to the over, minus 122 to the under. Two goalies that have been playing well. Gustafson's been really good this season, and so has UPL. He's been the better goalie. If you're looking to back the Sabres, you would want to have UPL in that. So, um, yeah, I think the under looks pretty good here at minus 122, especially if this is a type of game where we see low, a slate where we see low scores. Again, I'm hoping that's not the case, but maybe we'll see some lazy hockey. Who knows? As far as props go, looking at a couple guys here. On the Wild side, I like Boldy to record a goal plus 195. Not the best price. He's been pretty damn good this year, though. Riding hot overall in general. Um, and just a guy that shoots. He's getting top line minutes with Zuccarello out. He's recorded a point in 7 of his last 10. Goal wise is a little less or a little spottier, but still, I mean, that's kind of the nature of goals. He only has 1 goal in his last 5 against Edmonton, but Kaprizov back now. I think a full game with Kaprizov back in and feeling good is going to improve that line's chemistry. So I kind of want to look at Boldy props there. And then if you do a Boldy and Kaprizov point parlay, that's minus 114. But again, I'm leaning more towards under here, so I don't really want to go super heavy on points and goal props. So those are more leans. I don't know if I'm going to actually get there. This is more of a game I'm probably going to lay off when everything's said and done. But On the Sabre side, I'm looking at Darlene shots minus 130 for over 2.5. He's been really good this season, firing a ton. My only little bit of a pause with it is the fact that Tage is back, and will he kind of take some of that from him? Without Tage, he's been firing. He's been hitting, 4 shots really, 4 and 5 over his last couple. He's hit 9 of his last 10 overall, but a ton of 4 and 5 shot performances in there. Just a ton of volume in general. Does that go down with Tage back? I could see that being the case. So give me a little bit of pause, but Minnesota obviously is a team to kind of target too, with the shots on goal against defensemen. They rank 25th. So again, probably playing this game in particular pretty light, but I just want to kind of provide some angles for you guys to look at, and maybe if it's one you're kind of leaning, maybe it'll get you across the line there. So let's move on to the Rangers and Canes. All right, so this is another one that's kind of funky actually, just because the Rangers have not been good. Just in general, they've been letting up a lot of goals. They haven't been scoring as much as we're used to seeing. Their record still looks good overall, 12-7-1. So I mean, it's not like they're terrible, but there's been trade rumors with Kreider and Trouba being on the market now. Kreider sat out that last game, so you gotta wonder what's going on internally there. If there's a little bit of strife going on in the locker room as well. So kind of giving me a little bit of pause here. If you're wanting to back Rangers in general or Rangers props, just something to consider there. I don't know if everything's all right in Rangerville, so to speak. But as far as the lines go, Rangers are plus 160, Canes minus 192. That moved a ton since last night when these lines were posted. So obviously the betting markets are agreeing with the Rangers' lack of good performance recently, and that's showing this line. I mean, I don't think if this was mid-season or when the Rangers were playing well, you would see the Rangers at plus 160 in this game, even though it is against the Canes. So definitely value on the Rangers if you think they can kind of right the ship. But I mean, they did not look good in that game against the Blues either. I think the Blues really outplayed them. I think they had 45 shots on goal in that game, which is just ridiculous. I know it was the new coach bump. Rangers also have had a pretty heavily condensed schedule as well recently, so that doesn't really help them either. Total sitting at 6.5, minus 118 to the over. The under is minus 102. You can even get Rangers plus 1.5 at minus 155, which is kind of interesting as a piece or something there. So I think I lean the over here. If I had to take a side or total, the over at minus 118 feels pretty good. I know the Rangers haven't been scoring too much, but this kind of feels like that get right spot with Spencer Martin in net. Obviously, the Canes are struggling in keeping their goaltenders healthy right now. Kochetkov just went out. Freddie Anderson has been out for a while at this point. I saw some jokes about Antti Ranta being brought back in, so we'll see what happens there. But Spencer Martin, not really the guy you want to see in net if you're backing Canes. So I don't want to back the Canes money line minus 192 with Spencer Martin in that. It just doesn't feel right. And you have Shesterkin on the other side too. So I mean, that's just, I know he hasn't been great, but if there's ever a guy that's going to kind of shut down this Canes offense, you would hope it'd be this guy if you're back in the Rangers here. So yeah, I like goals. Canes team total over 3.5 has been a cash cow. I've seen a lot of people on it over the last month or so. It's been cashing insane. So I don't mind if you get there as well. It's very juicy tonight though. I think it's minus 130 or so. So maybe look live if you like that. If you want to back the Canes in some sort of way. I don't love that minus 192 on the money line. So maybe you get their team total in some sort of way, shape, or form there. So that would be where I would look for them. But let's head to props. For the Rangers side, like I said, I do think the Rangers are going to contribute to this over. I like the over here. So give me Will Cooley goal. I like that a lot. He's been very productive recently. As far as, it has not been the studs for them. Cooley has 3 goals in his last 3. We haven't seen Zibanejad. We haven't seen Kreider. Panarin's been relatively quiet, although he's recorded 2 goals in his last 3 games, so maybe he's kind of coming to life. But like the big name guys, Trocheck as well, have just not been productive the last week or so. It's felt like so. As much as the history looks good, as far as these teams have played a ton. So when you look at the history, Panarin has 11 points in 11 games against them. Kreider has 10 in 11 games against them. Zibanejad has 10 in 11 games versus them. So a lot of productivity in the past, and obviously this has been a very these teams have played a ton, playoffs and regular season included. So lots of history here, and kind of a lot of bad blood for Canes fans too. So I think Canes still, this is a game that they are going to want to come out and be productive in. But yeah, I would only look Cooley here. You're getting a ton of value on him, and he's been probably one of the better goal scorers for this team. I mean, he's tied with Kreider at this point in the season. I don't think anybody was seeing that to start the year. So, and then Adam Fox point is, I say this all the time. If he's minus 130 or better, as long as he's just not, completely doing nothing, I'm going to back it. He does have 2 assists in his last 3 games, so he's starting to kind of produce a little bit. And you're getting him at minus 115 for a point. And I know, like, I've heard people before say, oh, you got to take his assist, not his point. There's better value. You get plus money. Yeah, I get it. You can do that if you want to, but I have gotten burned a few times trying to just grab his assist when his point prop is minus 150 or minus 160, and that's the game he scores a goal. I'm not saying that's going to happen tonight, but I think at minus 115, it's a great price for Adam Fox just to record 1 single point. So I'm fine with just taking it there and just playing it a little bit safer. So as far as Canes props go, Nature's assist is something that just needs to be an auto bet and for everybody's slates. He's still minus 120, which is very bettable. I was hoping we get a little bit better value seeing Shesterkin in that, but not the case. I think he was like minus 130 on FanDuel as well. So minus 120 was one of the better prices I saw, and I'm going to definitely grab that for him. Lines kind of got shaken up a little bit the last game with Jarvis coming back. Roslovic and Jarvis moved to the top line. Svechnikov moved down to the second line with Drury and Natchez. So it's weird because that line of Natchez and Robinson and Kotkaniemi was kind of rolling for a little bit there, and now it's just kind of gone. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I mean, I feel like he's been productive regardless of his line mates. He's got it done on the power play. So minus 120 for an assist just feels good for me. For Natchez, it's been almost an auto bet every game and auto cash. So like that a lot. The other guy I'm targeting on the Canes, I think you can make arguments for a lot of players on that side, but I'm going to go with Roslovic. He had a short stint with the Rangers. I like to do revenge angles. This isn't like the biggest of revenge angles, but you also have a guy that's playing on the top line, like I said, with Aho and Jarvis. Getting a ton of minutes. His goal prop is plus 275 today, which feels real nice. Point prop is plus 110. That feels really good as well. He did not record a point that last game I had him, but I'm fine with going right back to it. I don't mind taking a shot on goal prop. Like I said, the Blues had 45 shots against the Rangers the last game. Carolina is that type of team that just throws pucks on net. So I could see a lot of shots on the Carolina side here. And Roslovic sitting at 2.5 plus 136 feels really nice. I don't mind the 2 as a parlay piece as well. I think I'm going to probably have some sort of 2 shot on goal prop parlay with him and a couple other guys. Alex Nylander's one of them as well that we'll get to later. But yeah, as far as this game goes, that's where I'm at. I think you can make some arguments for some other Canes players as well. So I think the Canes get 3 or 4 goals here. But yeah, I like the over and those props I mentioned. Let's move on though. So we got a ton of games here. I'm gonna try to move a little quicker here. We're already at 15 minutes. I've only gone through 2, so here we go. Blues and Devils. Blues get the new coach bump last game against the Rangers. Obviously, I was on them last game plus 150 or no plus 180, I believe it was. That was a nice cash. It was a little bit back and forth to start the game, but Blues really took it to them in the third and kind of found that extra gear. And I would say they looked really good against the Rangers. Bad spot for the Rangers too. It was long road trip, returning one game home, and then back on the road for this Canes game today. So not the best spot for them, obviously, and we took advantage there. But Devils as well been really good, really hot. So it kind of puts my sides and totals to question here, right? Like, do you continue to ride the new coach bump with the Blues, or do you ride the Devils who have just been pretty damn good? For the lines, we have plus 190 for the money line for the Blues, minus 230 for the Devils. Total sitting at 6, minus 105 to the over, minus 115 to the under. Blues plus 1.5 on the puck line, minus 130. So that's not bad if you're looking to maybe a little safer for the Blues. I think if you're gonna do Blues though, you take the money line. Plus 190 looks real nice. I get it. Devils been damn good. Devils at home. But that new coach bump doesn't lie. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's one thing if it's a random coach, but I mean, this is Jim Montgomery coming in. I think a lot in the NHL media agreed that was probably one of the more scapegoat type firings you'll see for the Bruins. So Jim Montgomery comes in. The Blues look great that first game. Tons of offense, tons of shots, and just scoring chances throughout. So they managed to put, I believe it was 4 on Shesterkin, so not bad. So yeah, Blues plus 190. I feel like that's a pretty decent lean as far as pretty decent price. And I lean that way for sure. Over under, I'm going to stay off there. If you like the Devils, I don't mind maybe doing in reg at minus 140, but like I said, I lean more towards the Blues here. Let's head to props though. First off, I'm looking at Zach Bolduc. First game under Montgomery, he records 2 goals. He was noticeable throughout the game. The announcers were talking about how early in the season he wasn't shooting enough and kind of lacked a little bit of confidence. But if we remember at the end of the last season, he had a ton of productivity. I think he had like maybe 10 games toward the end of the season. I think he scored like 4 of his last 5 or something ridiculous like that. So definitely a type of guy that can get hot. He can score. So if he's building confidence, like I said, he had 2 goals that last game. I'm going to go right back to him. I don't think the Devils' defense is good where we're going to get them completely blanking the Blues here. So Bolduc goal at plus 700 seems silly for the price. But that's kind of the way I play stuff. I mean, I look for guys that are playing well, and they're producing. I mean, we talked about Will Cooley before that. I don't care if the big names aren't producing. I'm going to just go right to the guys that are, and I don't care if they have that name value or not. Bolduc's playing on the third line with Holloway and Sundqvist, so not getting a ton of minutes, and obviously, it's not the perfect scenario. He is on the second power play unit as well, so that gives a little bit of a boost. But like I said, he passed that eye test that first game under Montgomery, and at plus 700, I don't mind going right back to him there. So on the Devil side, I'm hoping that at some point we'll get a point prop for Paul Cotter. I don't know that's going to happen. He's getting bumped up with Timo Meier missing the game for a 1-game suspension. So he's going to be playing with Heischer and Nazen, who have been pretty damn productive this season. So if you can find Paul Cotter points somewhere, if it pops up later, if you want to tag some sports books and tell them to open up some damn lines for Paul Cotter, that'd be cool too. But that'd be where I'll be looking as far as value on the Devils side. The problem with the Devils is you're just not going to get a ton of value. Jack Hughes is always 2 points. Brat Point is minus 200. Let's see what Brat assists at minus 115 doesn't look too bad. I don't think the Blues are going to be shutting out the Devils, so that doesn't look too bad to me. That second line's still been pretty productive with Palat and Hughes, so that was pretty good. Nazen point at minus 120 doesn't feel bad either. Very productive, top power play unit for him. He's been awesome. what an acquisition from Carolina. He was kind of like that weird type of fringe piece for them last year. He was playing top power play, but third line. Devils giving him a little bit more run, a little bit more of a chance playing on the top one or two lines this season, and he's kind of passed the test. So don't mind his point prop at -120 either. If you want to go another Blues prop as well, Rob Thomas assist is +100. Not the best history overall, but good value. We know that that's what he does. He's more of a pass first type guy. As far as history goes, he has 3 goals and 3 assists in 6 games versus them, so could be a little bit scary there. Obviously, his point is a little bit better, but that's like -180 or something like that, so you can't really bet that. But yeah, I think that's kind of the angles I would lean here. I don't want to go super heavy on this game. I can't really tell if this is going to be an over or under, so I'm not wanting to hammer a lot of props here, but those are kind of the ones I'm looking at. But I think I'm going to go when all said and done for those 2 main ones: Blues money line +190 and Bolduc goal at +700, and maybe that Cotter goal at +500. Small bets, all these, but I think there's a ton of value to be had there. If you hit one of them, you're cashing. So at those numbers. Let's move on. We got the Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Montreal played last night, so we'll see how their legs look on a back-to-back. They did not look very good in that third period. They didn't look very good in general, I'd say. I know the game was tight for a while there, but and it, went to overtime. But I feel like their offense just kind of looked very lackluster. They had a few power plays, couldn't even get set up in the zone, which I don't really get. I feel like there's enough talent on that team, at least on those top 2 lines, to be productive. Uri Slafkovsky, man, what's going on with this guy, right? He was, top line, top power play, very productive to start the season. That top line was flying, very productive, and then now he's on the 4th line. So I don't really know what to say. I haven't watched a ton of Canadiens games. I know he's been getting kind of bashed a little bit in the media, to say the least. So obviously he's not producing, so that's what's going to happen. But yeah, with him being on that bottom line now, it's like the goal scoring depth just doesn't look as good in general on this team. Alex Newhook bumped up to the top line. He had a goal yesterday. And that second line just doesn't look as good as what I felt like this team looked like in the preseason. Obviously, Laine is on his way back. Traveled with the team yesterday, so he will be on the road trip, but not going to be playing in this game, unfortunately, as much as I would love it to be, since this would be a revenge angle type game here. But we won't be getting that, at least this time. So I will have that circled, though, when Laine does return. Canadiens also missing Matheson here, so Hudson up to that top power play unit again tonight. I will be looking for that power play point prop again. Last night I was on it at +500. That is a misprice. I seriously doubt we're going to get that number again tonight if they give it to us. Probably expecting more like +250, +260, unfortunately. So as bad as that power play looked, I'm still going to probably go to it. Columbus isn't anything to be scared of, and I feel like he's another guy, Hudson, that passed the eye test. He just looks good, confident with the puck on his stick, and just skates so damn well. So we just need somebody to finish. I don't really know either what's going on with Caulfield. I feel like he's been another guy that's been kind of slumping as well. Just despite a great start to the season, he's at 12 goals in 21 games, which looks good, 17 points, but no goals in his last 3. Again, that first line's offense is kind of dried up. It felt like an auto bet for that first week of the season. Now, not so much. So I don't know. I'm not finding a ton of value here on the Habs side, but even with that being said, I mean, the Blue Jackets are what, -180, -185. I don't know, man. That's just that's just crazy. I get it. Caden Primo's in that, and not the type of guy you want to back, but if I had to take a side here, I would take the Canadiens, even on the back-to-back, even with Primo in that. No way in hell I'm laying -185 with the Blue Jackets. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening there. I'm probably not taking either of those. Let's move on to the props though. Yeah, I mean the over under as well. I forgot to mention is over 6.5 minus 125. The under plus 105. Not really a lean. I feel like I lean more to the over there, despite the struggles I've been seeing from the Canadians offense. Maybe this is a get right spot for them, even if it's a back to back. So like I said, I'm going to be looking at Hudson props again. I get it. Offense hasn't been great, but his point prop is plus 135 tonight. Like I said, no Matheson, so he's the guy. He had almost 5 minutes of power play time last night. If he gets any power plays, he's going to be on it again. He double shifted on the power plays last night. So when the second unit came out, he was still out there. They literally were like, we don't have another offensive defenseman, so he's just going to stay out there the whole time. So just that alone is enough to continue to go back to his point prop, even though it didn't hit last night. So definitely looking there. As far as the Blue Jackets side, not a lot of value considering what this team is. Zach Werenski point minus 218, Marchenko point minus 182, Monahan point minus 162. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, I get it, Caden Primo, right? But yeah, I'm not trying to lay any kind of prices like that with Blue Jackets players. I get it. They should be productive tonight, but that's just kind of crazy. Seeing a couple of people on Ken Johnson tonight, minus 125. That's not too bad. Yeah, if I was going to be looking at Blue Jackets props, I'd be looking more at those other guys, Fantilli, Chinnikov, Voronkov, Johnson. Try to find some value because you're not getting value with those other players. One interesting one there, they're still offering Slavkovsky point. It's minus 142 to the under. He is still in that top power play though. I don't know. I might consider that one. Maybe I'll get him started. If I take his under, he'll be productive today. But you're talking about a fourth liner. I think if I had to do anything on the Blue Jackets side, even Werenski assists is minus 148. I don't mind that. I would probably go Werenski shots. Over 4.5 is plus 110. He's been kind of up and down a little bit, but price is good, plus 110 at least. So feels like he's been more of like the driver of this offense really from the blue line. Yeah, spotty. 50% his last 10 overall. Head to head though is pretty decent. That's 57%, so not great. But there are a couple 8-shot performances in there. I feel like if he's going to get there, he's going to have a ton of attempts. Miss the shot completely, missed the net completely a bunch. But his shot volume has been pretty damn insane. He's averaging 9.2 attempts over his last 10. So, I mean, that's all you can really ask for from a defenseman at a 3.5 line. So, don't mind it, don't love it, but probably overall going to just probably stay away from this game just because I don't know if I love too much from it. Just probably a Hudson assist, if anything, will be where I'll end up. So let's move on. Calgary Flames versus the Detroit Red Wings. Vladar versus Cam Talbot as far as our confirmed starters. These are two teams, to be honest with you, I don't have much interest in at all. I don't mean to be dismissive or a hater or whatever you want to say, but these are two teams I just like. I'm not finding much enjoyment in betting them, to be honest with you. Took the Flames at plus money the other day against Ottawa. It felt like that was a misprice on Ottawa, and Dustin Wolf gives up 4 goals, so that was pretty brutal. I still think the Sens stink, but whatever. That's another story. I just don't see where the offense comes from Calgary. I know they've been pretty good to start the season, 12-7-3. But where's the offense game to game? Like, what props are you taking? Are you feeling really good about when all's said and done? Huberdeau's not the same. Blake Coleman, Sharon Govich. I'm still waiting for Sharon Govich to heat up. He does have 3 goals in his last 3. So maybe he's finally turning that corner. He was a guy that I liked targeting last year. When he runs hot, he's a good player to target. So maybe look to his props tonight. I don't know. I don't love this Calgary Flames team, to be honest with you. I understand they've been good to start the season, but I don't necessarily believe that's going to be a long term thing. I mean, I feel like the goaltending has been more of what's been carrying them than the offensive production. So we'll see what happens there if these goalies can continue keeping it up. But we know Vladar has been a guy that has been a career backup. So we'll see if Wolf's got to be the guy. Can he last a full season? We'll see. Wow, Sharon Govich goal prop is plus 195. So no thanks there. Even with that heater going on, I'll shop it. Maybe if there's a better price, I don't mind it, but not at that price. Hell no. As far as the Detroit props go, uh, another team that I feel like there's not a ton of value on in general. You know, you're talking about point props for guys like Larkin and Raymond. Look at minus 198, minus 182. DeBrinket's minus 142, so that's not too bad. But I mean, come on, man. These guys haven't been that productive that they should be laying. We should be laying those kind of prices. I know Raymond was a guy that you could get like minus 130 at points last year. I understand Larkin being at minus 200 range, but yeah, not too much value, to be honest with you, is what I'm getting at here. I think you could, if you want to get a little bit crazy here, you can go Larkin at 2 points. That's at plus 270, given the history with him. 7 points in 5 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, not too bad against Calgary. Heating up in general, 3 points in his last 3. So again, I'm not trying to lay a minus 192. So I would rather just look at some value there. Maybe take his goal prop, maybe take his straight assist prop or something like that. You can do a Larkin Raymond point parlay that's plus 108, but I mean, like I said, the Flames goaltending has been good this year. I know it's Vladar in net, but he's been good so far. Our over under set at 5.5. So obviously the books think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I'm just not really interested in props or sides here because I just can't seem to get these two right. So pick your poison. If you're feeling it, go for it. But this is one 15 game slate. I'm just going to lay off it. So let's move on. All right. So our next game we have is the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Florida Panthers. We have Stolarz in net versus Sergei Bobrovsky. We got some goalie revenge here. Anthony Stolarz, a former Florida Panther goalie. So see if that causes any kind of added boost to him tonight. I don't know how much goalie revenge plays into anything. Real quick, I saw a comment in here. William asks, what bets do you have so far? So I think so far we've broken down the Wild and Sabres game. Lean towards the Wild money line slightly. Don't love it. Sabres have been red hot. And Boldy props, Kaprizov props, and Darlene shots were kind of my leans there. Rangers and Canes, I lean to the over there, the over 6.5 at minus 118, minus 112-ish, I think was the number. I like Cooley goal, Fox point, Roslovic goal, Roslovic props in general, points, shots, that type of stuff, and Nature's assists. So, and then I think you hopped in around that Blues game, but I did lean the Blues money line plus 195, Bolduc goal, and Cotter goal. You'll get plus 700 and plus 500 there. So taking more big swings there. Smaller bets on that game though. But yeah, let's keep moving here. So Maple Leafs at Panthers. Leafs at plus 130. Panthers minus 155. Home favorites. The total set at 5.5, minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. I guess Leafs. I feel like if you have the chance to take the Leafs at plus money, you take it, right? I know the Panthers have been good at home, but it feels like it's kind of like an auto bet for me. I feel like the Leafs are a good enough team, even with Matthews still being on the shelf, where if I'm getting plus money on them, that's when I'm going to take them. I don't like taking the Leafs when they're minus 130, minus 140, or worse, whatever. You have to grab them in a reg and stuff like that. That's when you get the duds from the Leafs. But they're going to have extra incentive to try to beat this Panthers team. Panthers had that big showing against the Avs, but otherwise have been kind of reeling recently. So I don't mind taking a shot at plus 130 for the Leafs here. So that's where I lean there. As far as props go, first one I had circled today. As soon as I saw he was available, I grabbed it, posted it earlier. Was Alex Nylander shots. He's sitting at over 1.5. I grabbed him on FanDuel plus 116. I don't know where he's sitting at there now. I know on DraftKings he's at minus 115, I believe. Yeah, for 2 shots. So moved a little bit to minus money. I still don't mind it there. I feel like you're getting him at 2 shots because it's just a second game in the NHL. He started the season in the AHL for the Marlies and has been pretty productive down there. So I don't really understand, to be honest with you, how he signed an AHL deal and didn't get any kind of deal from an NHL team, given how good he was last year. I get it. He's been kind of a fringe type player his career, but it seemed like it kind of clicked last year for him. Was productive offensively. Obviously, was a shots on goal darling for a lot of us, cashing that 1.5 prop for a little while, and then he moved to that 2.5 number at a nice like plus number. I think it was like always like plus 130, plus 140, 2.5. But relatively productive as a shooter last year for the Blue Jackets, and yeah, I think I don't think there's any reason. I mean, despite the matchup, I know Florida's first forwards is not the best target for shots on goal, but you're getting him at 2. You just need two to hit the net. He had 4 attempts last game and hit 2 on net. And like I said, last year he was a guy that was hitting 2.5 pretty consistently. So I don't mind grabbing the 2 shots now while I can still bet it. Plus I'm getting plus money. So definitely grabbing that. That was the first thing I had circled today, and probably my favorite bet from this game. Otherwise, I'm looking at guys like McMahon. He continues to be on the top line, so I don't know why you would pivot away from him. I get he's been kind of spotty as far as his point prop goes, but you're still getting it plus 125. Again, I don't mind looking at his shots on goal prop as well. So if you're looking there, forward's not the best target against Florida as well, but just getting a ton of minutes for this guy, and he's a player that rips a ton of pucks as well. So I don't mind him at 2 if you can get him as to use him as a parlay piece. I don't mind that. 3 is going to be a little bit sketchier, but still don't mind it. Marner historically has been very good against the Panthers. 5 goals, 11 assists across 10 games, averaging almost 3 shots on goal in those 10 games. Obviously, no Matthews, so that changes things a little bit. Matthews has 13 points in those 11 games versus them. So yeah, that changes. You have McMahon and Tavares as his line mates, but still Tavares relatively productive against them as well. 11 points in 11 games. So I don't mind looking at Marner point props. I know he's always going to be a 1.5 guy, but at plus 150 for 1.5, or if you kind of can parlay him at 1 and maybe Tavares at 1, you're going to get a nice number there. Or like I said, you just take that McMahon prop at plus 130 because they're on the same line. So maybe he gets involved here. As far as the Panthers go, I don't see why you would ever just not automatically bet Sam Reinhart goal every single game. He's hovering around like plus 125, plus 130. I don't care who's in that. I don't care who they're playing. He missed last game. The guy has a hit rate on goals that's like players that have their hit rates for points. So I don't really know what else to say. The guy's been an absolute monster. Yeah, 70% on his goal prop in those last 10, 64% on the season. That's for a goal prop. Just simply ridiculous. So don't see why you don't come back to it. You're getting plus money. You take it. So that's where I'm going to lean there. Like I said, I lean Leafs money line as well. So I think the main prop, though, is Nylander. I think that's the way to go. You can have a little fun. Go Nylander parlay. And you grab them both at 2, or 1 at 2, 1 at 3, and then ladder it up if you want to get silly. I'll look into that too. So, all right, let's move on from this game. We're going to go on to the Bruins and the Islanders. Can we just skip this one? The Bruins yesterday, I think they had like 35 shots on net and got shut out by Vancouver. So they're going to be on the back-to-back. They're going to be kind of pissed off. But, I mean, do you really want to back the Bruins, given their offensive struggles? I think I saw earlier today they're averaging like 2 goals, 4 in their last however many games. So 10 games, 5 games, whatever it is. So they're just not scoring. And then, we're mixing in the Islanders, who historically have been a team that you don't want to back for goals. So, I mean, maybe you just take the under and walk away at 5.5. I don't necessarily love it, but this is a game I don't really have much interest in, to be honest with you. And I'm probably just going to pass on completely, but we'll talk about it. The total set at 5.5, like I said, -102 to the over, -118 to the under. This feels like one of those games where if you bet the under, it's going to be like 6-4 for no reason. Despite everything saying that this is like a slam dunk under. It feels like it should be like a 4.5 or a 5 or something. But Bruins +110 road dogs, Islanders -130. I have no interest in the side here. Maybe Islanders. Just the fact that the Bruins aren't scoring is enough to get you across the line, I guess. I don't know. And I just don't really have much interest in props either, to be honest with you, because I don't see a lot of goals here. So why am I going to take props in a game like this? You know, Pasternak has a decent history, 10 points in 9 games. You're not getting any value on him. McAvoy 8 points in 7 games. Charlie Coyle 8 points in 9 games. So those are some guys that have decent histories against the Islanders, but I mean, these guys aren't producing. So what do you're not getting any value on them. I mean, let me look at it. I didn't even look at these props, to be honest with you. Like, I'm sure that the value is insane, right? Pasta point -218, Marchand -142 for a point. If you want to take that Coyle one, +165, like I said, he has 8 points in 9 games versus them. He hasn't been super productive this season, but maybe that's where you look. He's getting enough ice time to do something. So if you think the Bruins offense gets going, I mean, there's no way in hell I'm laying prices like that on Pasta and Marchand, just given how bad they've been this season. So Lindholm point looks all right at +110 as well. But again, no production from these guys. I don't see where it's coming from. On the Islanders side as well, I mean, they've been better than the Bruins, I guess. Are they really? No, the Bruins are a better team overall record-wise. So I feel like since Barzal's been out, this offense and Duclair, it sucks because I was excited about this Islanders offense this season, to be honest with you. I know everybody hates on them for being a boring team and a team that nobody likes to watch offensively and all that, but I thought bringing in a guy like Duclair to go on that top line, top power play, giving somebody that can shoot the damn puck to Barzal, who's the playmaking type guy, felt like a hell of a move by this team and the right type of thing. And then you add in Siplikov as well, who's a young Russian coming over from the KHL. I really thought this offense was going to be good this year. You have the guys that are always there, like Lee and Nelson, that can pick up some of the slack scoring as well. And I thought it was going to be enough to make this actually more of an exciting team than the past has shown. But unfortunately, that hasn't been the case to start the season. Got a couple comments here from Brian in the chat. He says Brock Nelson goal and Palmieri point. Yeah, like I said, I think I lean Islanders here, so I don't mind getting there. To be honest with you, Palmieri's been the guy I have been backing overall. So what's his point prop sitting at tonight? -142. It's a little steep. Shop that. You probably get better elsewhere, but 6 points in 7 games versus Boston. So maybe I feel like Boston has been giving up goals. They haven't been that steadfast defense that we've been used to seeing overall. I just don't know if I want to necessarily get involved with the Owls either, given just what this offense has looked like overall the last couple weeks or so. It just hasn't been what I thought it was going to be coming into the season. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Dobson point as well as another one Brian pointed out. 8 points in 9 against them. Like I said, the history is there for the Islanders props. So take them if you like them, as opposed to grabbing that money line at -130. Maybe just grab a couple Isles props if you find some good prices around. Dobson point at -115 isn't bad. I mean, he's getting a ton of minutes. So yeah, maybe that's the way to go. Sprinkle a couple of those, but let's keep rolling here. We're going to the Canucks at the Pens. So obviously, we talked about the Bruins playing last night against Vancouver. Now we got Vancouver traveling from Boston to Pittsburgh. Tristan Jarry in net. I mean, I don't really know what other options team has at this point, unfortunately, but that's where we're at, I guess. I don't know. So Canucks on a back to back. So I don't know if that phases you at all, but they're sitting at minus 115 on the money line, which feels pretty stupid to me. Penguins minus 105, home dogs, I guess. Really, they're not. Yeah, minus 115 versus minus 105. So you're not getting plus money either way. Total sitting at 6, minus 120 to the over, plus 100 to the under. Canucks are pass here, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. It was kind of funky that game last night. It seemed like the Canucks were sleeping through a nice chunk of it. The offense wasn't really there. So, like I said, the Bruins kind of dominated them for a large stretch of that game. Lots of shots, just no finish. So, may we get a better effort from the Canucks tonight. I can't back a team that's starring Tristan Jarry at this point, and especially with that defense. I get it. It's not all on Jarry. He hasn't been good by any stretch, but I mean, numbers wise, he's been a little bit better over the last 2 games. He's not minus on his goals saved above expected, at least across his last 2. For the season, he's sitting at like a -6. So not been the guy that you want back there, obviously. But this blue line is doing him no favors. It's just brutal back there. We kind of joked about in the offseason the players they were bringing in, and it's just hasn't passed the eye test in real life either. So glad we're kind of right on that one. So yeah, definitely lean Canucks here. I think I don't know if that's just a trap line at minus 115 or what, but it seems like it is, right? With Jarry in it. I don't really know why that's the number that we're seeing. So I'm gonna take it. I don't know if it's just because it's a back to back or what, but and then as far as props go, I'm going right to the main guys here for the Canucks. DeBrusque point is sitting at minus 115. He had a goal last night against the Bruins. That was the most obvious thing in the world, and obviously he cashed it for us, point prop and his goal prop last night. So that line has looked fantastic for Vancouver overall. DeBrusque, Pettersson, and Sherwood. And there was some talk about maybe when Besser got back, he would move on to that top line, but he did not. He moved on to the second line with Bluger and Heinen. So keep that line together and keep being productive. You're getting a ton of value at minus 115 for DeBrusque point. If you want to pivot to Sherwood point, I don't fault you there either. That's plus 115. And yeah, I feel like there's good value here on Canucks props in general. So I'm looking there for sure. Got a comment in the chat for Quinn Hughes point. Yeah, it's minus 198. So you brought up his 2 points as well. So yeah, I don't mind maybe pivoting it too. I thought Hughes was going to have a monster of a night last night, just coming off that nonsense where he got thrown out of the game the previous game. So wasn't really the case. He got a point early in the game, didn't get his shots, didn't get 2 points or anything last night, but I don't mind doing maybe his like 1 point along with somebody else. If you want to do him and Pettersson, I think that's pretty straightforward and feels pretty good overall. So I could get there with that one. Not really looking at too many Penguins props, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, Pens fans. It's just not this season, not your year. So wouldn't mind going back to Hughes shots. That's at minus 135 for 3. Pretty good matchup overall. And he hasn't been a guy that's missed a ton in a row. So I'm hoping maybe he can get back on his shot total here tonight. I don't really love the number at minus 135, but if you're looking for a shot prop here, that would be the one I'd have circled. So last one I have circled is Brock Besser goal. So plus 185 for a goal for him. Second game back, trying to get his skating legs back in. Didn't have any shots last game, so really more of a feel it out type of game. Like I said, I feel like the Bruins kind of dominated the end of that game, so not much offensive production from the Canucks towards the end there in the third period. I think they were just kind of defending that lead. But Besser has 4 goals in his last 5 against Pittsburgh, including a 2-goal game. You're getting a plus 185. I think now it's second game back from the injury. We know the type of player he is. He's good on the power play. I'm expecting the Canucks to put up 3 or 4 goals here, and he would be one that I'd be expecting to get involved on the score sheet. So plus 185, Besser goal. He'll be the first player to go over, was it 6 goals that everybody stuck at on the Canucks. So I don't mind looking at Sherwood goal as well, or DeBrusque. Like I said, that line's been productive. Pick your poison. Take your favorite guy here. I think we're going to see some goals from the Canucks tonight. Let's put it that way. Capitals at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Charlie Lindgren in net. Oh, one last thing. With Shelov's in net, I guess that could be a reason why the Pens are minus 105. Maybe you take the over there. So just another kind of thing to come back to that real quick. Shelov's hasn't been good this year. I know he was good in the playoffs last year, but this year not so much. So maybe you look for that over there. So, all right. Capitals at the Lightning. Charlie Lindgren versus Andrei Vasilevsky. Caps have fallen off, unfortunately. It sucks because they were fun to watch. They're a fun team to bet. Ton of value. And Ovi gets hurt, and now it's like you can't back this Caps team at all anymore, unfortunately. It's weird to say that like a 40-year-old Ovi is that much of a difference maker for this team, but I guess it really is. I feel like it was kind of like a significant blow to this team and their morale. And since then, it hasn't looked as good. Their offense was high flying to start the season. They were fun to watch, fun to bet on, tons of value on their point props, and now it's just kind of off the cliff. So unfortunately, that's the case right now with this Caps team, and we're just gonna have to deal with that until Ovi gets back or until they figure it out how to be productive without him. So yeah, I'm not going to be looking at too many Caps props overall. Connor McMichael's off the board at this point for me. Same for Protas. Yeah, it sucks. But with that being said, let's look at some Tampa Bay props then, right? Because I mean, if we're not looking at Caps props, then we got to pivot off, right? Jake Gensel assist is the first one I'd circled here. So pretty damn good history against Washington. I guess most of that's coming as a Penguin. 13 assists in 10 games played, 5 goals across that stretch as well, so 18 total points. So maybe you can go with his 2-point prop. He's been pretty damn hot too. He's finally kind of starting to fit in on this team. It took a little bit of time. I feel like he wasn't super productive to start the season, but 20 points in 20 games for him now at this point. So he's been pretty damn good. Yeah, Brian in the chat's got it. Gensel point. Yep. He also leans McMichael. We'll see. I mean, if McMichael returns to form, I'll come right back onto that wagon. But until that happens, I'm not going to be backing his props. It sucks because I loved riding those bets while he was running hot, but it's just not been the case. Kucherov 2 points. I don't mind it either. Goaltending wise, I mean, the Caps have been pretty damn stingy to start the season. Again, I think it's kind of fallen off a little bit. Thompson's more the guy I would want to have in that if I'm leaning towards like unders or betting the Caps. But Lindgren's been pretty damn good to start the season too. He hasn't been that bad. Thompson's just been the better of the two. So we get Lindgren in that. So if I'm gonna be fading the Caps in any way and looking to back Tampa props, that would be who I'd want to see. So that's the case tonight. Yeah, I don't mind the Cooch 2 points prop. He hasn't been hitting or as good as he has been in the past, but at some point that's got to kind of flip for us, right? I think he has a chance to really kind of run away with this Hart Trophy race. I know Kaprizov's been good too, but with Edmonton kind of lacking, to say the least, he could really like put some space between him and McDavid and Kaprizov if he can start racking up more of these 2 or 3 point games. We'll see if it happens. Minus 125 for 2 points tonight. Not too bad, I guess. The other guy I'd circle is Cirelli. Minus 130 for a point. He's on that second line with Hagel. It looks like Atkinson's moving up to, or back in the lineup. They scratched Mitchell Chafee. So Atkinson on that right wing, I don't love. That was kind of one of the players I was ragging on when we started when we did the season breakdown for this team. I didn't really understand how Atkinson was getting a top 6 minutes on a team like this, considering they're a contender every year. He was getting that type of run on the Flyers last year, but that was because they didn't have any depth. This kind of feels weird seeing him getting that kind of run. The depth hasn't been as good for Tampa this year, but they've been getting it done though. I mean, overall, 11-7-2, not too bad. So I think this team's finally starting to get the offense going, and unfortunately for Washington, this is going to be a spot for Tampa props here. I don't mind backing Hagel props as well. I don't think you're getting very much value on him. Yeah, minus 225 for a point. It's crazy. Maybe take him and Cooch for maybe him point and Cooch assist or something if you can even do that. Nope, he's over 1.5. So, but yeah, I think we're going to see some goals from Tampa. So pick your players that you like. Like I said, I like Cirelli because of his value at minus 130. It feels real good, and that Gensel assist at plus 120 feels pretty damn good as well. So I just think there's just good value there, good history. But feel free to piece together whoever you want to do. Cirelli's been hot with scoring goals too. So if you want to do like I tend to do like split a unit, do like 0.75 on the point prop, and then a quarter unit on his goal prop. He has 4 goals in his last 3, so he's really heating up. So I don't mind that if you want to get a little bit more value there. So next game on the slate, we have the Flyers and the Preds. So I'm a Flyers fan here, so not biased by any stretch though. So I'm not going to sugarcoat some stuff for you here, but this Preds team has not been good. Right? I mean, we all thought this team was going to come in the season, get all these new pieces, and just bam, right? They would come out flying and dominating, and that hasn't been the case. I don't really know what to say. Haven't watched a ton of Preds games. The ones I have watched, it's been kind of snooze fests, and they were a fun team to watch last year, so I don't really understand. It's not like they've broken up the top line. O'Reilly, Nyquist, and Forsberg are still together, and that was all their goals last year, it felt like. So how do you get worse by adding guys like Stamkos and Marchessault? I don't really understand. I don't know. At some point, this has got to flip. It has to. I don't see how a team with this much talent on it could be this bad, but still they're not winning, and the Flyers kind of are right now. So at plus 150, I can't. There's no way you're backing Nashville at minus 180. That's for damn sure. Let's put it that way. So I mean, I would only lean Flyers here. I don't love the Flyers. I don't think that they're a team I like really want to back game in and game out here. But there's no way in hell I'm taking the Preds here. So. Yeah, over under set 6, plus 102, minus 122 towards the under. No lean there, really. We got Kolosov in that, I believe, right? Yeah, Kolosov versus Saros. So Kolosov has been up and down, I'd say, overall. Fedotov's been the better of the two, I would say, overall, at least as far as what the results have been. He's fought back from a really bad start to the season, Fedotov, but I don't know. Kolosov let up some not that good goals in that Blackhawks game. I was there watching that one, but overall he played decently. So as far as props go, the main player I have circled for the Flyers is Konechny. I feel like he's just kind of reached another level. It's almost like he's feeling like he's the captain of this team. It looks like, at least when I'm watching these games. So I know Couturier is the guy, but yeah, Konechny's just been awesome. I wish you could get his point prop at like a better price, but that's never going to be the case. He's minus 198 for a point. So I'm going to pivot to his assist, plus 120. 3 assists in his last 3 games. Feels pretty good at a plus number. I don't mind taking this point prop and parlaying it with something to get some value. Um, let's see what the latest Flyers lines look like because I feel like they change them every frigging game. Yep. So we got Farabee up on the left wing now with Couturier and Konechny. So last game it was Tippett. So it's Tippett, Frost, and Mitchkov on the second line, which feels pretty good. What's up, Aaron? So yeah, I feel like that. I think I might get across the line with this Flyers money line. To be honest with you, I look at these lines and Farabee's kind of been buried on the bottom six for the Flyers to start the season and hasn't been productive, but he is showing a decent amount of something, I guess. He's been shooting the puck a ton, not hitting the net, but maybe he gets going. I mean, Konechny is a good player to play with. I really want to see the day when we get Konechny and Mitchkov together for like more than just a few minutes per game, but Torts doesn't see it that way, I guess, trying to get everybody else going. So, yeah, like I said, connecting point or assist at minus or plus 120 feels really good. Mitchkov point is minus 106. I don't know why you wouldn't bet that automatically. Brian's got it in the chat, so there you go. Mitchkov point. Rinse and repeat, man. I mean, you're getting value on it. I don't mind sprinkling his goal as well. He's got 2 goals in his last 3. He just seems to come in clutch. I don't want to get too high on him as a Flyers fan, but he passes the eye test, man. It's he gets the spaces that you need to get goals. He comes in clutch when you need him. It's a fun time in Philly right now watching this guy play. So I feel privileged to be able to watch him night in and night out. So yeah, give me those props as far as Flyers go. On the Preds side, ton of history here. Like guys that look good historic wise, just not good this season. So where do we go? You know, do you trust the history or you trust the recent form? It's felt like recent form has mattered more so to start the season, but that can always shift. And guys, for whatever reason, are productive against certain teams, and sometimes it just is everlasting. So if that's the case, here's the couple of guys that I have circled for Nashville for you guys. So Jonathan Marchessault against Philly, 4 goals, 6 assists in 6 games for 10 points, averaging nearly 4 shots on goal along those games. So his props look fantastic. His over 2.5 is minus 168, so that's going to be a parlay piece. His point prop is minus 142, which isn't too bad. If you want to go there, you can even go for his goal prop if you're feeling saucy. Like I said, 4 goals in 6 games. He loves playing the Flyers. But don't forget, that was as a Vegas Golden Knight, who's a team that historically has beaten the Flyers pretty well. So he hasn't really passed the test so far in Nashville. So he's been picking up the shooting. So like I said, I don't mind his 2.5. It's just not bettable straight, unfortunately. Couple other guys that again pop here. Roman Josi, 7 assists in 6 games against the Flyers, averaging 3.5 shots on goal in those 6 games. So target him for his assist prop. You're not getting his point prop at a bettable number. Assist is minus 130, so not too bad. He's at least been relatively productive. 3 points in his last 3, but 2 of those have been goals. So if you take his assist prop tonight, he scores. It's you're going to get burned, but he's definitely more of the more assists than goals type of player, as a defenseman. That's just the nature of it. Stamkos has a good history as well, 8 points in 7 games, as well as Forsberg, 7 points in 6 games. So maybe you parlay a couple of guys together or something like that. Maybe you take Yossi point with Forsberg point, and then you do like a Stamkos and Marchessault point parlay. Those are, I would imagine, are very nice number wise. But again, this team has not passed the test of looking good at all to start the season. Is this the game? I don't know. Maybe. Let's move on, though. We have the Stars and Blackhawks. Casey DeSmith in net and Peter Mrazek. Is this not the biggest Stars beatdown spot imaginable? I would say, right? Like had that game against the Canes. They had it until they didn't, and the Canes just kind of whomped them in the third period. Right? I don't know what happened there. So yeah, Hintz is out. I doesn't matter. He's been he's been not the guy we're used to seeing this year, man. I know he's kind of picked it up recently, 3 points in his last three, but like, what's his season number sitting at? 13 points in 20 games. Oh no, Blackhawks are not favored here. That was maybe I misspoke. So, all right, sorry. Money line. Stars are sitting at minus 238. Blackhawks at plus 195. Total sitting at 6, minus 110 either way, over or under. I mean, I get it. You're not getting any value on Dallas, but Stars and Reg is minus 140. I don't mind that. Um, Stars puck line minus 1.5 is plus 110. So maybe get there. What's the team total at here? 3.5 minus 130. That might be the better value. I know it's minus 130, but at least that way you don't have to take into account like any other nonsense. I'm not expecting the Blackhawks to score like 4 goals here or anything like that, but I could see the Stars scoring like 5 or 6 and just laying the hammer, as they say, just because of that loss to Carolina. Yeah, Dallas 5-5 on the road. I mean, so does that factor in that the like global series game is one of those being a road game? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they've been better overall. Dallas. They were kind of in a funk to start the season, not really passing that eye test, as we say, and really starting to turn it on offensively. Like I said, they had 4 goals against the Canes, and the Canes don't really give up goals. So this just feels like a spot for them to get right after that loss and just take it out on this poor Chicago team. So Mrazek has been the better goalie, I guess, but I still don't love Peter Mrazek as a starter in this league at this point in his career. So as far as props go as crazy as you want. I feel like I said, I think I could see 4 or 5 goals at a minimum from Dallas. So kind of circle the guys you like. The ones I have circled so far is Marchment Point minus 135. That feels stupid value wise, just considering his line mates are minus 170, minus 180. So he's been just as productive as Sagan and Duchesne, and you're getting him at that discounted rate for whatever reason. So he does have 8 points in 10 games against them, 5 of those being goals. So maybe sprinkle his goal prop. He's second on this team in points right now. I mean, that line has been the line. It hasn't been Hintz, Robertson, and Johnston. I'm still waiting for Johnston to kind of come out of that and be the guy that we think he can be. He does have 4 points in his last 3, so maybe that is starting to turn. And that line has been productive. But again, like you said, Hintz out this game. So who we have moving up? Evgeny Dadonov. So you want a silly prop tonight? There you go. There it is. Top line. We got him on the top power play. I doubt it, but oh yeah, top power play. Top power play, top line for Dadonov, plus 300 for a goal. Can we get better? Hopefully, maybe. Plus 300 is not bad for a top line player, top line and top power play. So, I'm betting a play like that every single time. So that's pretty much auto bet for me, especially like I said with Robertson and Wyatt Johnson kind of coming out of that funk a little bit, recording points recently. So let's see if Dadonov is 390 at FanDuel, so that's a little better. I'll get there on that for sure. I might even go half unit as opposed to a quarter like I usually do for goal props. So yeah, Marchment Point, like I said, minus 135. It feels stupid. If you want to do the fun, as always, Duchesne and Sagan point parlay, that's plus 116. That feels good as well. Wyatt Johnson over 2.5 shots on goal as well as another one I had circled. We know he's like that road guy. Let's see how his road has been overall. That's not 70%. So against Chicago, for whatever reason, he doesn't hit on the road. Only one of his last 4. So It's a parlay piece regardless, minus 156. So not like you're getting any value there, but just something to consider if you're looking at shots on goal and want another piece in this game. I had a look at the Blackhawks lines, and I just don't love it. They moved Dickinson off that top line, who had been kind of productive for a game or two. Now it's Bedard, Hall, and Khrushchev, and I don't know. Maybe you go, let's see here. If you're feeling saucy, Bedard, no points, minus 110. He hasn't been productive, man. I think he said I forget what the quote said, but it was something along the lines of like, when stuff's not going right, it's just not working right now. So he does have a good head-to-head history against them, 3 points in his last four. But I mean, if you look at his last 10, he's hitting 30% of the time for a point, and those are against. Oh, so if you look closer, 3 points in his last 10. Two of those games were against Dallas, and he had points in them. So maybe you don't take the Bedard under tonight. Maybe you take him the next game. But just something to consider. He has not looked right. I don't know what it is. I mean, this team doesn't have depth at all, and I joked about it when they made all these offseason signings, and people are talking about them being like much improved. I'm like, really much improved, adding guys like Teravainen and Bertuzzi. No, not that much improved. So we're seeing what that means now. So this team's just not good, and yeah. So yeah, Stars puck line, Stars team total, Stars and reg, however you want to attack it, and Stars props is where I would be if I'm doing anything in this game. Next game on the docket, we have Vegas Golden Knights at the Colorado Avalanche. Oh, that's a good shot. Sagan, 3 shots on goal, seems like 90% of games. Okay. So yeah, maybe that's another angle to go if you want to go Sagan shots. 30% overall at 2.5. He does hit better against Chicago, but yeah, I don't know. And yeah, you took the Dallas puck line yesterday at plus 120. At plus 110, it's still not bad. I think you're getting good value. I don't see any reason why Dallas doesn't just dominate this game. I don't see where the goals are coming from for Chicago. So even with the Smith and net, I don't really care. All right, Vegas, Colorado. Colorado big favorites here. I was kind of surprised when I saw that number, to be honest with you. Vegas plus 140, Colorado sitting at minus 166. Total over 6.5 is minus 122. Under is plus 102. At first glance, I wanted to take Vegas just based on that number. And I get Vegas has not been good on the road, so maybe that plays into it. But the other factor here is just the amount of games that Vegas has played recently, I guess, and coming off a long road trip here. So they're coming from they played Philly on Sunday, I believe it was. Please hold. I'll check that real quick. But while I do, yeah, I don't know. This has always been kind of like a close series. I feel like when these two teams play against each other, so I don't really understand why we're getting like such a big number on Colorado, especially given like what their production has been. Yeah, it was Philly on the 25th, so 2 days ago. So yeah, they had Ottawa, Montreal, Philly, pretty big travel spot, I guess you'd say, with 2 days in between or a day in between. So I guess that's why the number is what it is for Colorado. But I mean, come on, man. Georgiev's been the better of the two goalies between him and Ananen, but has he been good? No. Let's see, recent form, minus 0.45 goal saved above expected over his last 3, so better than Ananen, who's been minus 3.4, which is brutal. But I mean, Georgiev is still sitting at almost minus 10 goals saved above expected for the season. You can't win games if you don't have at least like competent goaltending. Like, it's one thing to have, goaltenders that aren't true absolute studs, like guys like Shesterkin and Vasilevsky, et cetera. But it's another thing to have a guy that's minus 10 goal saved above expected. That's just dreadful. So I get it. Colorado can score. Colorado can be an offensive juggernaut at times, but like, You mean to tell me I have to lay minus 166 on this team with Georgiev in that? Hell no. So I don't know. Maybe I still look at Vegas at that plus 140 price on the despite them being on the road, because there's no way I'm taking the Avs with Georgiev in that. So anyway, let's move on to props. As far as that goes, Vegas side, I'm looking at Eichel. His assist is minus 148, which is so friggin' juiced, but the numbers back it up versus this team. 8 assists in 8 games played against them, 10 points total, only 2 goals. So if you're going to back his point prop, you might as well just go to the assists, because you can actually kind of bet that. Averaging almost 4 shots on goal in those 8 games as well. Still no Mark Stone for the Golden Knights. I don't know what his latest is, but that kind of hurts them a little bit too. But Tomas Hertl looks pretty good as well against them. 8 points in 10 games. He's way more bettable than Eichel is. He's sitting at what, minus 120 for a point, so that doesn't look too bad. Shea Theodore is the main guy I had circled, though, as far as like the right price and the right numbers historically go. He's minus 125 for a point, so unlike Eichel, who is minus 148 for that assist, feels a lot better of a number. And the history against them is pretty good. 6 assists in 7 games. You could just go to his assist if you wanted to, but again, if I can bet point prop straight minus 125, I'm just gonna eat that juice a little bit, because I just want to play it safer. It does look like Cal Burke is still on the top line with Eichel and Barbashev, so we has goal prop at plus 1,200 the last game against the Flyers, and oh man, he almost buried one. There was one where he had the goalie laid out and got a rebound and just couldn't get any kind of lift on the puck to get it over the pad. So don't mind going back to his prop again for the goal. Just given you're playing on a line with Eichel, like I said, what he's doing is assisting. So it's either Barbashev or Burke that's going to score, unless it's on the power play, I guess. But I don't mind if I'm getting a good number on Burke again. I know it's going to be way less than it was last game. Let's see. DraftKings doesn't even have them, so I'm gonna have to shop that one. But yeah, if I can get a good number on him, I'm definitely sprinkling him again. It's out of principle at this point. If I miss a bet like that and he scores the next game and I don't bet, I'm gonna be pissed. So that's where I'm standing there. Yeah, Barbashev point is reasonably priced tonight, plus 100. So don't mind that either. Just given, we want to find value on these guys. Eichel is not value. Let's put it that way. You have to bet his over 1.5. And like I said, his assist prop was like minus 148. The history is great, so I don't mind it. If you want to put it with something else, or if you can find a better line elsewhere or whatever, that's fine too. I don't mind. But yeah, Barbashev point looks pretty good, plus 100. Vegas is going to score, regardless if you don't want to take Vegas on the side because their legs might be jet lagged due to the travel spot and all that. That's fine, but I mean they could almost accidentally score against Georgiev. Let's be honest here. So I do see some productivity coming from them. William Karlsson coming back as well, I believe, right? Yeah, he's back. They have him on the third line right now with Howden and Dorofeyev. He has 4 goals in 7 games against the Avs, so maybe you look at him as well. I don't love backing a player off an injury, but that might be another spot to kind of look at. As far as the Avs go, they are minus 166, so we should at least look at their props, right? Mikko, 8 goals in 9 games versus this team, 12 points total. He's ahead of McKinnon, actually. McKinnon has 10 and 9, so I'm looking at random points over 1.5 points. If I don't end up taking Vegas on the money line and just go props, I might be more willing to look at props on the Colorado side like this. And Rantanen would be the guy I would go to first. I mean, you never get value on McKinnon. Plus 105 for 2 looks pretty nice tonight, but Rantanen at plus 150 for 2 looks real nice. So might get there if I lay off that Vegas money line and just take something there. So definitely look at that. Makar has 8 points in 8 games versus them. I think he's going to be sitting at minus 234 for a point. So you can't even bet his assist anymore at this point. So he's like, yeah, minus 154 for an assist. But McCarr point is a great parlay piece as well. Like if you're looking for, you got a guy at minus 180, minus 170 or something like that you like, and you need just a piece to put together with it. I don't mind throwing McCarr with that player. Maybe that's that March so 2.5 shots or something like that we mentioned earlier, or that Roslovic two shots or something. Piece them with McCarr point, and bam, you got plus money. So maybe that's what you got to look at there. Not a ton of value otherwise on the Colorado side. I feel like you just got to take those 2-point props with McKinnon or Rantanen. I feel like that's where you're going to want to look. The other one, and unfortunately the number is not going to be as good as it was the other day when we cashed it, is our boy Ivan. Plus 400 for a goal. Fortunately, we won't be seeing that plus 850 again. I don't even know who the hell put that line out, but thank you. We cashed that. Very nice last game. So yeah, I'll shop that number, but I will definitely be on Ivan again. Yeah, 350 on FanDuel, so not very good. Callahan Burke is plus 460 on FanDuel. Like I said, I'm gonna check. I have like 6 books, so I'll check around for both Ivan and Burke, but I'll likely be on both of those goal props tonight. Ivan is playing on the second line with Big Val, and Casey Milstat. So second power play unit, unfortunately, but yeah, he's been good when he's been getting top 6 minutes. Ivan. So we joke about the name, but if he keeps cashing my bets, then I don't care what his name is. Thanks, Brian. Have a happy Thanksgiving, man. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so that's where I'm at for this game. A little wishy-washy on the side. I would rather back Vegas at the price, but I don't know. It's just a bad travel spot. So look at those props. I think you can find a ton of value there. I really like that Barbashev point prop at plus 100, and that Rantanen 2 points if I'm going to go a Colorado prop. And those 2 goal scores will obviously be smaller bets for me. But yeah, let's keep on rolling here. We're almost there. We hit the home stretch here. We've got 3 games left. Yeah, let's keep on moving here. We got the Winnipeg Jets at the Los Angeles Kings. Connor Hellebuyck is confirmed. It looks like Dave Rittich is projected, not yet confirmed. So we'll see what happens there. I hate this Kings goaltending situation. But I do my due diligence, and I watch other programs if I can, if I have the time. Follow other, good handicappers and see what they're on and all that fun stuff. And one thing that was pointed out by the Ice Guys was the Kings tonight in the spot. Now, the line is minus 112 for Winnipeg, minus 108 for the Kings. So it feels damn fishy just on the surface, right? Why the hell are the Jets only minus 112 on the road? They've been dominant on the road. They've been a great road team. The Kings have been very up and down in general. But here's the rub, so to speak. So teams coming off losing to San Jose, I believe, are 7-1, something like that. So that alone gives you enough, reason to kind of consider the Kings here, coming off that beatdown. What was it, 7-2? I don't even know how you lose the Sharks like that, but yeah, 7-2 on Monday. So that's a road game, but obviously San Jose is right up the road essentially from LA. Not really, but it's not like a insane travel spot for LA coming back home to play this game against the Jets. So yeah, I feel like I gotta ride it, even though I hate the Kings. You know how I feel about this team. I don't love their goaltending. Rich and Net, Big Siv Dave, as I refer to him sometimes. Let's hope he's Big Save Dave tonight. How about that? Yeah, so I guess when it comes down to it, you lose 7-2 to the Sharks, you're gonna have a little bit of extra motivation. I don't care what team you are. You're gonna want to shut down the next team you play. I don't care who it is, even if it's the Jets or other teams that are at the top of the league. So give me the Kings minus 108. I don't love it, but you just gotta kind of stick with what's working, and that's one of those things that has been working so far this season. Teams coming off losses to the Sharks. So shout out to the Ice Guys for pointing that one out. Otherwise, let's go to props. I don't love the total either way. I could see a game where um, the Kings shut it down, and after allowing 7 goals to the Sharks, you got to kind of think that, hey, we got to pull our stuff together here on the back end. So maybe they tighten up on the blue line, make this a close game. I can see this being close regardless. So maybe that's why our line's set at that. But man, this feels like a trap as hell. If you're wanting to back the Jets tonight, I would be hesitant regardless. So prop wise, not going heavy here. Like I said, I kind of lean towards that under, so I don't want to go super heavy on the props. But Scheifele counterpoint parlay is -110. Regardless if I'm backing the Kings, that just feels stupid. Given the histories with these teams, Scheifele 8 points in 7 games, 4 of those being goals. Connor 5 games played, 6 points, five of those being assists. So, yeah, maybe you go Connor assist even might be worth a sprinkle if you want to get a straight in there as opposed to doing the parlay. Connor assist is +120, so not bad. So otherwise, the other prop I had circle is Kopitar goal. Yeah, what year is it that we're expecting Kopitar to get a goal, right? However, for whatever reason, he kills the Jets. 7 games played, 7 goals scored, 3 assists, 10 total points. And then don't look now, he has a goal and 1 goal in his last 3, 4 total points. So only 6 goals in the season for Mr. Kopitar. But I mean, um, if we're thinking that the Kings are gonna win this game, then hopefully Kopitar's involved. So yeah, I'm gonna grab his goal prop. You can't bet his point prop. It's -154. So goal props in at plus 320. Not too bad. So just a sprinkle there, but given that history, you kind of gotta do it. So let's keep on moving though. I don't have too much there. I feel like that's kind of a funky game in general, especially with that line and kind of scenario here. So maybe lean under, especially with Hellebuck and net. Ducks at Kraken. Last 2 games here. Little bit funky here, right? These teams just played. So what do we do? Do we expect the same thing? Do we expect something to change here? I don't know. Ducks are +170. Road Dogs. Seattle plus or -205. Sorry, misspoke. Total sitting at 5.5, -118 to the over. The under is -102. You can't bet the Kraken at this price, obviously. Maybe take a shot with the Ducks. I don't know. Do you really like that? I don't know. Obviously the Kraken won the last game, so I don't I don't love this game in general. I hate having games like this where it's back to back like that. What was the last 3-2? 3-2 was the final there, the last game. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna go right to props then because I feel like I don't want to take a side. I don't want to take a total. Anaheim just hasn't been that good offensively overall. Kraken as well. I feel like I say this every single year because it seems to happen at least the last 2 years. Whenever Vince Dunn goes out, this Kraken's offense kind of dries up, unfortunately, and they're going through it right now. It's just not as productive as it could be. And I thought Montour would be enough to kind of carry them, but it hasn't been the case. So yeah, let's just go to props. I'm not going to go heavy on this game just in general. It's like I said, I lean more towards the under. I don't love it, but on the Anaheim side, I'm looking at Big Z, Trevor Zegras, kind of coming to life a little bit. He slumped to start the season, really was not that good, and then now he's back. He's here. 10 points in 10 games against the Kraken, 5 goals, 5 assists. So good history as well. 4 points in his last 3, 1 goal, 3 assists. Finally starting to come to life a little bit. He has 8 points on the season, man, in 20 games. I mean, if you had told me that 2 years ago, 3 years ago when he burst on the scene, and I get it, like people hate on him because he scored in Michigan and that they think that's it, but I think he's still a talented player. And it's just, I don't know if it's just not the right system or whatever that's going on in Anaheim. But regardless, 4 points in his last 3 games, so doubling his point total across these last 3. He was sitting at 4 points before these last 3 games. So, yeah, I'm looking to back him tonight. Why not? You ride the hot players. It doesn't matter what their full season form is. If they're riding hot now, and then you back that up with his good history against the Kraken, like I said, 10 points in 10 games against them. It's kind of a good spot. It feels like plus 120 for a point. That's it. Plus 120. I mean, you get plus money on it. And I'm going to sprinkle his goal too at plus 350. Why the hell not? Take a player while he's riding hot. And this is no different than any other scenario. So I'm going to roll with it. If you want some more value on the Anaheim side, Owen Zellweger point is plus 150. I feel like it shouldn't be that number at all. 2 assists in his last 3. No history really against the Kraken, obviously, but yeah, plus 150 for a point that's playing top minutes for this team, top power play. Can't really go wrong there. On the Kraken side, I'm going to go back to Beniers. I took him for a goal last game. He did not hit. His history is insane against this team. 6 goals in 9 games, 10 assists as well, 16 total points. He did not record a single point in that last game, that 3-2 victory. So maybe he got an assist, but he did not score. So going right back to it. Point prop minus 115. I'm going to grab that. And goal prop is plus 290. I wish I was getting better value, but I mean, that history is just insane. John Gibson is the projected starter, so that would be my preference anyway. I don't want to see Dostal in that if I'm going to be back in Kraken props either. So I'm going to roll with that. And then I think you got to go back to Montour. 4 shots on goal plus 125, and his point prop is minus 125 as well. So I actually ended up kind of taking more props on this game than really I feel like I should. But I think the history and kind of situation speaks for taking some shots here. This is a later game, so we'll see what I end up on. Typically, these ones I only bet like 1 or 2 props early in the night, and then I decide if I want to add more depending on how the night's going. So feel free to wait if you're so inclined. But I really like Zegras just getting top line, top power play, and kind of returning to form a little bit. So let's go into our final game of the night, and it's a banger, isn't it? Senators at Sharks. I was kidding in case you couldn't tell, but yeah, man, this is what a way to close the night, huh? I guess the majority of people are going to be watching Golden Knights and Avs. Let's be honest here, but yeah, Senators are minus 230, road favorites minus 230. I don't even care who that other team is. Sharks plus 190. Half unit, quarter unit, something small. The Sens should never be laying minus 230. I don't care if they've won 10 in a row. This is just insane. I don't get it. I know the Sharks stink. But I don't know. If there's ever a team that you don't want to be laying that type of price with, it's this Sens team. So if anything, that's where I'm going. I don't love it. I don't want to be involved too much with this game, to be honest with you, as far as that type of stuff goes. But let's move on to the props. As far as history goes and stuff like that, Tim Stützle kills his team, 8 points in 4 games, 3 goals, 5 assists. So don't mind going for his goal prop. Don't mind going for his point prop parlay with somebody. Maybe you go with him and Kachuk, him and Batherson, something like that. Although Gaudette moved up to that top line. Is he still there? Let's check that before I misspeak. Obviously, you want to parlay the players that are playing together if you're going to do that. So, yeah, Gaudette on the top line. Batherson is on that top power play. So if you think they're going to get on the power play, then I don't mind using Batherson as that leg. But the more obvious one is going to be Kachuk and Stützle together. That's minus 145. Don't love the price, but I mean, you got to expect at least a couple of goals from Ottawa, so it's not too bad. So I don't see why you wouldn't take Gaudette point minus 125. Not bad at all. Sprinkle his goal as well. Plus 400. Yes, please. And thank you. Top line, like I said, if you're getting a top line player, a plus 400, plus 300, you just take it. I don't care who it is. And Gaudette has actually been pretty damn productive this season. What's he sitting at for the season on goals? 9 goals in 20 games. He has 1 assist. So scratch the point at minus 125. Don't even take that. Just take his goal prop. He has 1 assist on the season. If he's going to do anything, it's going to be a goal. Plus 400 as opposed to laying minus 125. If I get burned, I get burned. But that's how I'm going to attack that. Drake Batherson has been heating up, though. 5 points in his last 3. Starting to shoot a little bit more, too. I like his shot prop. That was the one I had circled in this game as far as those go. Sitting at, what, minus 115 for 3. So, like the value there. You're not going to get a ton of value, unfortunately, if you're doing shot props against the Sharks. And this feels like a spot where you're going to get some value here on Batherson. Second line, top power play. Feeling it, too. 2 goals in his last 3. So I could see a situation where you're getting a guy that hasn't particularly been consistent to start the year at a good price in the spot in a good matchup. So, yeah, I mean, overall, he hasn't been that great this season. Two times in the last 10, he's hit 3 shots. But against San Jose, 3 shots in both games against them. And like I said, I mean, you're getting top minutes. You're gonna have some value there. So I don't love shot props in general. You know that I've said it before. So you're gonna see very few coming from me. I'm more of a points, goals, sides type of guy. So that's just the nature of it. But as far as Sharks props go, I mean, I don't know. Maybe take a shot with Zetterlund or Eklund. They're both at decent prices. I think you're going to see some productivity from the Sharks. I don't love the what I've seen from Olmark to start the year. He's getting the nod tonight. His last 2, he's minus 1.81 goals saved above expected. And on the season, minus 6.62 goals saved above expected. So another guy that's just not been good this season. I mean, it's crazy to think that, Anton Forsberg has been the better of the 2 goalies to start the year, but that's what the numbers say. So, I don't mind getting some Sharks props. Eklund, Celebrini minus 130, not too bad either for a point. Maybe you go Wallman at plus 135 if he's still in the top power play. Let's check that real quick. But yeah, I mean, I think we'll see some goals from the Sharks. They just put up a 7 spot against the Kings, like we talked about. Wallman still is on that top power play. So, yeah, I mean, that's a great value, too. Plus 135. Yeah, that would be where I'd be looking. Try to find some value. And, yeah. So, yeah, let's close it out. I'm not going to do a breakdown of all these games or a summary of the plays. Hopefully you listened and caught on. If you came on late, hopped on late, you can feel free to watch it again on YouTube. It should be there. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, you can feel free to reach out to me on Twitter X or leave comments, and we'll see if we can get back to you. But yeah, otherwise, let's have a good night tonight, guys. Appreciate you all watching. This podcast was brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network and sponsored by DraftKings. Don't forget, new users get $200 in bonus bets when they bet just $5 and use code THPN. And Game Time. Need tickets? Hop on to Game Time. Use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. And Raycon, 30% off your first purchase using code THPN for your audio listening needs, headphones, and other earbuds and such like that. Check out Raycon. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for bearing with me. Big slate, riding solo today. Everybody that watched, tuned in, I appreciate it. Thank you for the comments, guys. And have a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate tomorrow. And let's, cash some damn bets going into the holiday and enjoy. And we'll be back on We might be back on Friday. I don't know. We'll see. I got to talk to the guys. Might be me against Solo. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, big slate again on Friday. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.